Welcome into the Fantasy Football Power Hour, brought to you by the Southern Bluegrass Fantasy Football Championship. I'm your host, Seth Burchett, Phoenix Rocket on all social media accounts, pretty much. Joined by my co-host, Chuck Ellis, and the good doctor himself, the founder, creator, president, commissioner, and any other title you want to give him, the good Dr. Brian Harwood. Gentlemen, how's it going tonight?
You could also give me another title to add, dog catcher.
I feel like there's a story there, Harwood.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, it's been one of them weeks, but hey, I'm still here.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I can see Harwood chasing the dog through the neighborhood and maybe yelling at him, "Hey, I got a gift card. If you'll come here, I'll get you into a silent auction. Whatever it takes to get the dog wrinkled in."
Chasing them parked cars, man.
Yeah. Right.
I'm thinking
that's what. Go ahead.
I was thinking Craig's dad from Friday.
Oh yeah. Gentlemen, speaking of chasing parked cars, I feel like that's what my fantasy teams are doing right now. I'm 0-2 across the board. It's not been a good start for me, but we're not here to talk about my fantasy woes. We're here to talk about your fantasy woes. We want to thank everybody that is tuning in tonight on YouTube on the TN2M show of network of shows. I'll get that right one of these weeks. Comments are open. We're going to take stardom setting questions in the last segment. Got a lot of good feedback on that, guys. Seemed like a lot of people liked us taking stardom setting questions and helping them with their lineup advice. What have you guys been hearing?
Yeah, the same. I had a lot of good feedback about that. They also want to get our advice on trades as well. So
we'll take trade advice as well.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Or give it, I guess. I guess we're not taking it. We're giving it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with what I think is one of the bigger stories from this past week and leading into this week is quarterback injuries. It feels like they're all going down right now. I mean, you've got Brock Purdy going down. Joe Burrow is now down. They just ruled out Jaden Daniels this week. McCarthy's out. I mean, you've got so many quarterbacks that have gone down. And, if you're a guy like me, I'm in our Friday night mini main event brought to you by Woo Fantasy. I am quarterback poor because I had Joe Burrow and my backup was Brock Purdy. So it was Jake Browning for me on the waiver wire this week. Just because I figured I'll get Purdy back. I didn't love anybody else that was out there. Was Daniel Jones, was that the hot name for anybody that needed a quarterback this week if he was available in leagues, Dr. Harwood?
Well, he was a hot name. A lot of guys picked him up last week. But, however, what I'm seeing here is that he's going to play the Titans this week, and I could see him throwing for 300 yards. But I talked to my buddy Matt Krantz, and we think the Titans will get a win over the Colts this week. We don't know how. We don't know why. We just think the Titans will get the first one of the season this Sunday against the Colts. But the Titans' pass defense is poor. But what shocks me more than Daniel Jones is why in the world Marcus Mariota ranked 13th overall in quarterbacks projected this week on Draft House. Mariota.
Yeah, that's high. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that either. And he's, unless you're a Jaden Daniels owner in a super flex league, I don't know why you would even have Mariota to play. I mean, maybe he's like a fan ball streamer, if you're doing something like that. But I don't think that he has a ton of value.
Yeah, I think the Commanders concentrate on the run this week against the Raiders. Raiders are a little weak stopping the run, so I think it's going to be a heavy dose of run this week for the Commanders.
Who's going to run the ball? Is Prosky Merrick going to do better?
It's got to be Bill.
That's $1 million question right there, fellas. We shall see.
We're having tons of go ahead.
I'm sorry. I never thought I would see the day when Mariota was ranked above Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, or Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's not smart.
I don't believe any of that. Like, I would stay
Yeah.
away from him unless you have to start him. And I'm talking like desperation, super flex. You want to put in a quarterback at the flex. Maybe you take a look at it there, but I just don't see it being a thing. We have tons of stardom cinema questions um, and a couple of trade questions. We will get to that in the third segment. Hang in there with us, Rafe, Big Bando, and Dustin. We will get to those in the third segment for sure. Last night, Bills get another win, and Josh Allen showing, Chuck, that he may be the most consistent fantasy quarterback over the last 5 or so years.
Yeah, that guy is as steady as it comes. And I tell you what, uh, the Dolphins came to play last night. They didn't roll over on their back and play dead, and they had a chance late in that game to actually tie. And but I believe the corner from Buffalo baited Tua into that last pick. But that was a good game. But to answer your question, yeah, Josh Allen is as safe as it gets. He is rock solid.
I mean, that I guess that begs the question: who would you rather have at this point? So, let's say if you're in a dynasty, I mean, Lamar or Josh Allen, because I think those are probably your top two quarterbacks across the board over the last 5-6 years or so.
Yeah, you can't disagree with that, and I think you flip a coin and you be happy with whatever side lands in your field. So,
Yeah,
Well, but the
I
thing,
agree.
and both quarterbacks, they don't have that dominant number one wide receiver. I mean, they've got a lot of different weapons to throw to.
yep.
Like I was contemplating starting Keon Coleman last night over Calvin Ridley, and I did not start Keon Coleman. So,
Well,
but Dalton Kincaid, though, I think he's probably a top 8 tight end, maybe top 5 tight end going forward, maybe.
I think he's actually number one right now as far as fantasy scoring goes for tight ends.
tight ends have not really produced over 2 weeks. I mean,
Yeah.
Brock Bowers had a good first week, banged up last week, but Trey McBride was the universal second tight end off the board. He's not really produced, that what you would like out of a second round pick. But also, George Kittle took him in the third round, probably maybe the fourth if you got lucky. And you weren't very lucky because you don't have him for a little while. And George Kittle owners are feeling it right now. That's for sure. Well,
Yeah.
let's take a look at the week ahead. Looking ahead at these upcoming matchups of this upcoming week. Anything that sticks out to you, not just with games, but players, even taking a look at rookies. I mean, rookies that have stepped in and shown to be productive. Early on, feels like if you're looking at the rookie running back position, RJ Harvey has been the most productive of all of them. Somebody I forget who it was, I'd heard talking about Ashton Genty and basically calling him a bust. And I forget the comparison, but it was a great comparison to a different running back. Or Trent Richardson, maybe. Maybe that was it. A lot of people are starting to compare him to Trent Richardson, and I don't know that they're wrong at this point. What are your guys' thoughts? Chuck, we'll start with you on rookie running backs. Amari and Hampton, RJ Harvey. You throw Caleb Johnson in there, Ashton Genty. I mean, it feels like RJ Harvey has been the guy.
Well, I think a lot of these guys get a lot of hype and a lot of publicity in the preseason. And people forget the NFL is a business, and a lot of these guys coming out of college, they can't pass protect. So if you can't pass protect, you're not going to be on the field during passing downs. And it's a long season. These guys didn't have much of a free season, so it's tough right now. But to call Ashton Genty a bust right now is probably a little premature. Um, it's an early season. It's just 2 games, and I wouldn't quite overreact yet with Ashton Genty.
Dr. Harwood.
Well, let's talk about another rookie, Omari and Hampton, which I passed him in the third round over Ladd McConkey. Now, people are saying that Najee Harris is back. He's a starter again, but I think you've got to look between some of these lines with Hampton, because last week Hampton had 34 carries to Harris's 17. Hampton had 8 carries. Harris had 8 carries. Both of them had 2 targets. It seemed like it was pretty even, but Hampton had more snaps.
Mm-hmm.
So the game was 20-9, and in hand is when Najee Harris got more extended time. Is Najee Harris really a better running back at this point, and that they're wanting to start him, or were they wanting to save Hampton to prevent injury because the game seemed like it was out of hand?
Well, I think through 2 weeks, though, you're looking at that Chargers backfield, and there's not a clear-cut number one. I mean, they're basically giving equal shares of the snap percentage to both guys. I don't know that one has really overpowered the other in terms of share of snaps. And so I'm trying to look at all of this based on where you drafted these guys. And based on where you drafted them 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, R.J. Harvey is the home run of all of the rookie running backs. Now, does that mean that it's not that Ashton Jeanty can't come out of that? Or does that mean that Omar and Hampton won't take over that backfield? No. But based on where you drafted them in a position where you're going to start them every week. And when you're only getting 12, 13 carries in Omari and Hampton's case, it's tough to look at that and say that's a must start every week.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right.
I completely agree. And hopefully guys learned a lesson here. A lot of drafts, Gianti is being drafted ahead of Derrick Henry and James Cook. And, the NFL is a business. And I think these rookies get some too much hype before the season starts. So they're probably a little overdrafted.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's tough because you don't want to be the one that misses out on a rookie sensation like Bijan Robinson from a couple years ago. Yep. It ended up being a huge, based on where you got him, pickup for you in fantasy drafts. I just don't see that with Jeanty. Now, I was getting some I'll throw the comment up there. Alb Flo says comparisons to Trent Richardson after 2 weeks. Tough crowd. I'm not saying that he is Trent Richardson. I'm just saying that I could see it going that way because at this point, I mean, it's a similar – they're on similar paths. But, yeah, it's only 2 games. It's not necessarily an overreaction. It's just I could see that happening.
These rookies aren't conditioned yet. I mean, they still think it's preseason.
It's going to take some time. And I tell you, the rookie running back that I really liked and still like is Dylan Sampson. It's a shame, I'm glad Junkins is back and all of that personal issues are behind him. But every time Dylan Sampson touches the ball, that kid is electric.
Yeah, they love him a lot there in Cleveland. And I don't know if they didn't think he would be there when they drafted him or if their plan was to draft him all along. I don't really know. They're very calculated. Most of those moves are wrong, but they're very calculated in what they do. And so my guess is they probably had him pretty high on their board, and you see why. And he's electric in the pass game more so than being a 3-down back. He's a guy that's going to, catch 4 or 5 balls a game once he really gets his legs under him and they give him a solid role in that offense, an offense that I want almost no part of at all. Harold Fannin, maybe. I mean, he's outplayed David Njoku 2 weeks now.
Yes, sir. I completely agree with that assessment. And you were talking about looking at the upcoming games. The game I got my eye on is, you can arguably say, the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, with Mr. Browning and with Mr. Browning and the King Carson Wentz. That game could be a shootout from the coin flip. So I'm really interested in that game this week.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I'm interested to see what Carson Wentz looks like. I think you know what you get with Browning. Browning's not terrible. Browning is somebody I'm going to start this week in a league because, as I said, I had Burrow and I had Brock Purdy, and neither one of those guys are healthy. But I'm comfortable starting Jake Browning because he has been a top 12 quarterback when he has played. And I think he can be again because they have so much around him that he's set up for success. As long as the offensive line doesn't give out, and it's Cincinnati, they're probably going to give out at some point.
Yeah, he likes to throw the ball to the other team quite a bit, which in fantasy, if the other team's scoring, he's steadily throwing. So he could score some big points for you this week.
Well, Jake Browning, if you're a Higgins or a Chase owner, and if you had Burrow, I think you have to start Browning to keep that stack alive.
Yeah,
keep that going. And right now, look up Jamar Chase's betting prop for this week. Right now, it's at a pretty good bargain. It was
a little bit low this week.
It was 71.5 yesterday, and for wide receiver over under in terms of yards, receiving yards, and that's a bargain for Jamar Chase. I'd go ahead and bet his prop now before
that way
Sunday,
you can lock it in. Yeah,
90. Right now it's 70.5.
It's funny you say that. I was in the middle of making some prop picks today, and right in the middle of the prop picks, my prop for Terry McLaurin changed. It was over 3.5 catches, and as soon as the news came out about Daniels, that prop disappeared. I couldn't even make the pick. So that's crazy how that happened in midstream like that.
Those sports books are on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of it's mathematics, and I know a lot of it, but it blows my mind how good sports books are at predicting, because the over-unders are usually fairly close. I mean, sometimes there's not, and some people every week somebody blows their over-under out of the water one way or the other. But generally speaking, especially with like rushing yards and receiving yard props, they're pretty doggone close.
Yep. And they're playing for the tie. They want the tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will introduce our guest for the week and talk to him. He is tell us who the guest is coming up, Dr. Harwood.
Well, we have Mr. Gene Polk right now. He is entering the week. He is in second place overall in the SBFFC. Hattiesburg Ballers, great guy, coming in from Mississippi. Dixie Chickens, Tom McIntyre, Curtis Van, and David Tate introduced me to him. And Gene has been in the SBFFC for a couple of years now. He 2023 finished second overall in the high stakes league on the Saturday morning. He's had some good finishes in the auction. Second high stakes last year. He was second overall last year in the Friday Night Superflex League, and he was third last year in the Guillotine live draft we did, and he has finished third in his main event division a couple of seasons. So he has been in the thick of contention every year he's been in the SBFFC, and now he is entering the week. He is in second place overall in the SBFFC main event leaderboard, and he was he came out of Student Financial Services Division number 4, and he's got a good roster. We'll go over that. And really, really solid at the running back position, and I think he's got a pretty balanced roster.
Well, we'll talk about that and more as we take a break here on the Fantasy Football Power Hour presented by the SBFFC on the TN2M network of shows. We'll take a break. We'll come back after a word from our sponsors over at Trophy Smack. Special thanks to our sponsors over at TrophySmack.com, where you can get all of your fantasy championship needs: trophies, belts, helmets, flags, pendants, whatever you need. They've got it over there. Give them a look and tell them the SBFFC sent you. Right now, we're going to welcome in our guest. He is the owner of the Hattiesburg Ballers. in the SBFFC, currently setting second overall, Mr. Gene Polk. Gene, welcome into the show tonight. Thanks for joining us. Oh, we got some technical issues here with Gene. Let's check our mic here. It looks like we're good to go on my end.
Gene has a serious look tonight because he's not wearing glasses.
He's muted.
Let's try that now. Let's see what we got here. There we go. See if we got you on now. Nope. Let's try that little cog over there. It says check the audio there, Gene. We'll bring Gene back on here in just 1 second. Dr. Harwood, you've got his rosters. Can you go over his lineup currently in the SBFFC?
Well, I tell you what, he has got Lamar Jackson the quarterback. He got Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery the running back. Flex is Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams. He drafted out of the number 11 position after number 11 position in the SBFFC main event. And then he's also got Puka Nacua, Mike Evans, and Seattle Seahawks defense, which I really like this week. Brandon Aubrey, the kicker. He in order, this is who he drafted. He was at number 11 spot. First round, McCaffrey. Second round, Nacua. Third round, Lamar Jackson. Mike Evans, fourth. Xavier Worthy, fifth, who's injured right now, but will be back soon. Sixth round, Montgomery. Seventh round, Jalen Warren. Tyler Warren, number 8. I think that's been carrying him along with number 9 round pick, Javonte Williams. Then he's got Braylon Allen, Rashid Shaheed, Bashel 210, which I think will be a big factor going forward too.
Well, yeah, after the trade of Tank Bigsby, I think Tootin looks a lot better. Gene, it looks like the mic is muted on your end. There we go. Now we've got you in. Thanks for joining the show tonight.
Thanks, Seth. Thanks, Chuck. What's going on, Dr. Harwood? Thanks for having me tonight.
Gene, you got that serious look. You don't have your glasses on tonight.
yeah, I kind of forgot them. Now I'm trying to see where you guys are at. But thanks again for having me on tonight.
How many second place finishes are we holding up?
Well, I got to get over the top, Seth and Chuck. So maybe y'all can give me a little help. I just can't seem to. I can't catch Brian. Brian's always finishing and he's always finishing first ahead of me. So
Oh yes, I'm in the top 200 right now in rankings.
So I got to tell you guys, I don't have Hampton on this team, but gosh, man, I'm heavily invested in him all over the place, and he has just been such a huge disappointment. Huge.
Just be patient.
And I think that happens with rookie running backs sometimes. I mean, you do have the rare exception. I mentioned Bijan earlier. His rookie year was pretty exceptional. But I think he's a guy that, week 6, 7, 8, I think he's going to start to take over that backfield. I think right now, I don't know if they're being patient with him because he's a rookie. I don't know if they're worried about him, overworking him in his rookie year. Right. But I think by the middle of the year, I think he's going to end up overtaking that running back role there in Los Angeles. And I just think you have to be patient with him and, just kind of roll with it for now, because it's kind of a rough situation because you sort of have to start him every week because he's going to have one of those games and you don't want to have him on the bench when he does.
Exactly. So check this out. So the main event, like Brian said, I pretty much in most of Brian's drafts, I tried to stay around 10, 11, or 12. And every time I was hammering Hampton, but something in the main event, it got there. And thank God, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to take Lamar. Because the others, I got stuck with Burrow and Daniels. Or not stuck, but chose those. So, they always made it back to me in the fourth. But, I'm glad I got Lamar in the third. That third round reversal is nice if you grab that top, him or Allen, in that 10th or 11th pick there.
And I think that's been a lot of owners' strategies who want that top-tier quarterback is to take him there at the beginning of that third on that third-round reversal.
Right. That's kind of why I did that in the main event. I wish I'd have done that in the others. So, I even got Hurts in the league. Man, that's been a killer, too. I got Hampton and Hurts with my third and fourth round pick. Man, that league, that's in Brian's high stakes, which I finished second 2 years in a row. Really done really well. And this year I'm sitting there, I think, with just 2 victory points, 0-2 with 2 victory points. So, I got a lot of making up to do.
I feel your pain on the Thursday high stakes.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the league is figuring this out.
So Brian, let me brag on Brian a little bit. Brian and Matt Krantz have dominated that in the guillotine league the last 2 years. So yeah, I'm definitely chasing them. I finished second in both those leagues, or third or second in both of these last couple of years. So yeah, I got to try to see what they do. But listen, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to tell y'all, I've gotten my fiance into football this year, and I was bringing her to Kentucky for Brian's for a lot of his events and stuff. But let me tell you how I got her in it. Brian has a fan ball, $20 fan ball weekly contest. So last year I played it weeks 1 through 16, never got close. So she played in a little 10-team Yahoo League for the first time. I said, hey, why don't you try this little fan ball contest? I even paid the $20. And she won the damn thing and won a free main event. Embarrassed the hell out of me,
You've created the monster.
I have. So she's got 4 teams up there, and she's actually 2-0 in his main event too. So, but she's got a little work ahead of her. She's got Daniels all over the place, so she's got a little work this week.
Well, I'd stay away from Mariota, but that's the only advice I've got for now.
She says she's behind me. She says definitely.
Yeah. I don't know that I would go that route. I want to ask you about your first pick, because I think a lot of people, myself included, which I drafted toward the front end of most of the drafts that I was in this year, but at 11, Christian McCaffrey is sitting there,
unreal.
And I, obviously, probably not something that you expected, but were you hesitant at all when you? Okay.
So Seth and Chuck, last year, I paid a lot of money to get the number 1 pick, and I only because my best friends, the Dixie Chickens, played in the Joes and Pros and got the first pick, and they got Christian McCaffrey. So I got to follow my Dixie Chickens, right? So I invested in Christian McCaffrey everywhere last year and got cut on Jordan Mason almost everywhere. So when I saw him at 11, I was very shocked, because I was looking at maybe St. Brown or BT or Drake London, somewhere along those lines. And when he fell, I told my partner, I said, man, we got to grab him. Man, he owes us from last year. So that's where we got there. And I thought Puka was definitely a first round pick too that fell, to me to the second round. So
it seemed like a lot of people were down on Puka, and I never really understood why.
Well, I think because of Devontae just grabbing so much of goal line passes, he really does. He just demands that. He's big body and stuff like that, great hands around the end zone. So maybe that's why. But Puka's, he had that 45-yard run last week. It was great.
Yeah, I agree. So what is your strategy moving forward? I mean, you've been successful. You've had high finishes in a lot of these leagues.
Right.
Going forward, what advice would you have for maybe somebody that hasn't had success or is newer to these leagues? Taking a look at your roster and kind of the construct of it. What advice would you have for somebody moving forward?
So this is what I've realized. I think this year, and it could change, but this year I think you had to go our strong running back 1 to start your roster. It's kind of like the hero running back to an extent. And then you got to follow through with 2 solid wide receivers in that second, third round, except I went quarterback because it was Allen or Jackson. I think Allen had went with the first pick, so I went Jackson second pick. But after that, the wide receivers in the second, third round are just not as they're a little stronger than those second, third round running backs, in my opinion. Like the Kyron Williams, maybe the Hampton, stuff like that. All those were going in the second round. And look at the second round picks even this year. Chase Brown, look how disappointing he's been.
Yeah, that one breaks my heart because I love Chase Brown coming into the year. I was a Chase Brown apologist, and I might still continue to be, despite my Browns fandom. I love Chase Brown and kind of his skill set and what he brings to the table.
Right.
I do wonder if he gets more looks and more touches with Joe Burrow being out, if they don't try to rely on the run game a little bit more. That'll be interesting to see moving forward.
Well, Seth and Chuck and Brian, if y'all look back a little bit at what Browning did, he actually's got a little rushing upside where Burrow didn't. So I'm not so sure he does get those little drop offs. Chase, Brown doesn't. I don't know.
He may not. I don't have as much share in Brown as I'd hoped because he went a lot higher by the time we got to draft day than I thought he was going to. My
fiance took him too. She's a big Chase Brown fan.
Yeah. I love him to death. I thought he was great, and he was going early second round.
Yes,
exactly. When we had a draft on the show, he fell to us at the beginning of the third. So I went into the main event thinking if I draft toward the beginning of the draft, I can probably get Chase Brown coming back around. Right. And never had that opportunity.
Right. Well, I was always, like I said, I bought 10, 11, or 12 or 10 and 11 just about in every draft of Brian. So I never got a chance at Chase. I never could pull the trigger with that because I'm going to tell you, a lot of times I actually got Henry with that second pick of the second round. And I cashed in on that in a lot of drafts. That's been good so far. I know he had a horrible game week 2, which I don't understand that, but I don't know.
Well, guys, when you look at his roster this week on fantasypoints.com and Draft Sharks, Jean's got 4 out of the top 24 guys overall in the flex rankings. Evans, Javonte Williams, McCaffrey, and Puka Nacua. I don't think he's going to go down too far in the rankings going forward. I think he's going to stay where he is. If all 4 of them guys stay healthy and score points, it's going to be tough to beat.
Brian, I tell you, you hit on the head. I really think I lucked out with Javonte Williams, but I had Jaylen Warren. I had him target all year. I just thought Aaron Rodgers coming in he would really excel there. A lot of people were all over Caleb Johnson, and he because of his size and stuff. And I just never bought it because he couldn't pass block. And with Aaron Rodgers, you better be able to pass block. And Warren's always been able to do that. So I definitely had Warren as a target. But I kind of looked out on Javonte because I lost Worthy, 2 plays into the season. Yeah. But if I, with Worthy coming back with him, if I get Worthy back solid with him and Nacua and Mike Evans, then I guess I'll probably bounce Williams and Warren off depending on the matchups rest of the way.
It's going to be interesting because when the bye weeks come up and if Worthy comes back,
you
have a deep roster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I got Tootin. That's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like Tootin a lot going forward. After they trade Tank Bigsby, I think that basically solidified Tootin's role for the rest of the year.
Exactly. Yeah. I missed out on a couple of folks this week. I was on Malik Washington, but I just didn't bid enough on him this week, and I really think he's going to carve out a bigger role for the Dolphins. And I think last night he was in on a lot of a good share amount of targets. I'm not sure the number. I think he only had 3 receptions, but he had a good share target. So
I'm gonna look that up currently.
Yeah, I was on him, but I didn't get him anywhere. I bid like $22. I should have bid a little more. So being that 11th pick, I had to spend $400, Seth and Chuck, to get that 11th pick in the main event. So I'm kind of down on. I got to be careful with my free agent budget in case I do have a big injury.
Well, and we talked about it last week. Some of the bids that have been taking place in some of these divisions have been just crazy, and some of it I think is panicking and overreaching early on. But I mean, I've seen some. I never want to criticize people for what they do in fantasy because I have been guilty of the panic mode after week 1 or 2 before. But some of the bids that I've seen have been head scratchers. I'll say.
I saw somebody go $876 on Browning this week out of 1,000. It was $1,000, but they went $876. I mean, that's their season.
Was that a super flex or was that just a regular redraft?
It was a super play. It was a super flex. You're right about that. Yeah.
That I mean that's still high, but that's.
Was he taking a loan or?
I went 20% of my budget in a 16-team league, guys, and didn't get him.
Oh wow!
I had Burrow, but I do have Lawrence, so we'll see if Hairboy can pull me through.
I mean, if you look at the way he and Liam Cohen interact with each other, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like there's some tension there.
Yeah, I agree. He's not going to be Baker Mayfield for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all.
So what do you? Let me get you guys. What do you think about Brian Thomas Jr.? This wrist thing, is that just him? Copping out because he ain't played well, or what?
I don't know how to read that because Cohen says he's had that, but they didn't really disclose it. So I sort of think that's him taking up for his guy, and I think it's just an excuse for not playing real well.
I agree.
I could be wrong, but coaches are always going to take up for their guys, and they're always going to say the right things. And I think that it's probably. There's not a whole lot to the injury itself, and more just a reflection on his play on the field.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe if you look at it, it's a slow start, but I also think he's still leading the league or leading his team in targets.
Oh, no doubt.
So he's still getting to work. It'll turn around. It'll turn around.
Let me go back to one thing we talked about on Marion Hampton a while ago, Seth and Chuck and Brian. So going into the year, this was such a run-heavy team last year with just Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Now, don't get me wrong, Dobbins is playing really well this year so far with Sean Payton. But I think so. But man, they finally cut Herbert loose, and I think that's their ticket to maybe go a long way this year. Let him throw the ball like he's doing.
No, I agree, and I think part of that is he's got a healthy core of receivers. I mean, when you got Mike Williams that's good for about 4 weeks before he gets hurt, and Keenan Allen, who was an aging receiver, and I still don't necessarily believe is a number one receiver. They're using him like that now, but I don't know that he's the number one guy. In terms of just based on his age, he's a good veteran receiver. But he's got a healthy receiving core. He's got Johnston and Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen. And so I think it's easier for them to cut him loose and let him throw a little bit. And who knows? I mean, maybe Harbaugh wanted to do that all along.
Yeah, maybe so. Now, Quentin Johnson burned me so much last year. I can't tell you how many 50-yard touchdown passes that hit him right in the hands and he dropped it. So I was so anti, and now I wish, I'd have had just a little bit of share of him somewhere. Because I really think he may end up being their wide receiver one when it's all said and done.
I tell you what, a lot of their success starts with that offensive line. That offensive line is no joke. It quite possibly could be the best one in the NFL.
Right. So Chuck, explain this. How does 3 people tackle Hampton in the backfield at the goal line? Are they just great pass blockers and not run blockers?
Maybe that's why you're seeing them pass the ball so much. But it's a different beast defending 1 yard. It's a lot easier to defend 1 yard than it is to defend 50 yards. Right.
Well, you're spot on that because Herbert's had all day to throw the ball against Kansas City and the Raiders. Both really good pass, defensive teams, and he's just done it.
Well, we're wrapping up this segment, Gene. We appreciate you coming on with us. Any final thoughts tonight, or advice, or anything you want to throw out there to the audience before we let you go for the night?
So 2 things. I'm gonna play my fiance week 5, so look out. She better look out. And they call me the Dixie Chicken Slayers. They won Brian's main event in 2022. They were the national champions for him that year. So I'm trying to take them down as well.
Well, we hope you do. Wish you all the success, and maybe we'll have you on sometime later on in the season.
Please. So, hey, last thing. What a bit of advice y'all see me going forward, Seth, Chuck? What little bit of advice y'all see?
I really just, I mean, looking at your team, I think it's pretty consistent. I think it's just streamlining your matchups each week. I don't know. I don't know that there's a major hole in the team. So, if there's a major injury, obviously play the waiver wire correctly. But other than that, I mean, I think it's just playing the correct matchups each week.
Well, when I say,
go ahead.
When I say, when Seth says play the waiver wire correctly, don't overreact to a 1 week wonder free agent. Okay.
Right.
Because you want some of these other owners to get desperate and panic and blow some of that free agent bid money.
Right.
And then when you're one of the top four horsemen at the end of the season, you're making the playoffs, and you've got more FAB money than your division opponents, you can play that monopoly and grab that advantage. I'm guaranteeing you, let these other guys blow their money because they're desperate to catch up to you.
Well, last question. So I tried to get Green Bay's defense this week. They were actually out there, and I got outbid on them. But, coming in, I kind of targeted Seattle too because they were kind of just not talked about as far as fantasy-wise, but they were getting a lot of talk as far as being a really good defensive team this year. They really went hard in the draft on there. Coach is a defensive coach. So I hope that pans out for me.
Yeah, that defense is aggressive.
And I targeted Dallas's kicking from day one. You can ask my fiance. She said, "I thought you said kicking team's not important." I said, "Well, Dallas is different."
Round 14 pick.
Yes. Yeah.
That kicker's just built different.
He is built different.
I can't tell how many drafts, leagues where I really targeted Dallas. And everybody goes, "What are you taking them this early for?" And I said, hey, to me, it's maybe 5-7 points a week better than the average kicking team. So that's
and to make sure Tina doesn't get them.
Exactly. All right, good night, guys. Thank y'all.
Hey, Gene, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brian.
Have a good evening,
love
sir.
you, brother.
See you.
All right.
See you later.
All right, brother.
All right, that was Gene Polk, the owner of the Hattiesburg Ballers. We're going to take a quick break now and hear a word from our sponsor, Trophy Smack. When we come back, we're going to get trade questions, start them, sit them, and we've got a bunch of them tonight. So we're going to quick fire through as many of those as we can get through tonight. As long as one of us doesn't get long-winded, probably me. But we'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Fantasy Football Power Hour presented by the SBFFC on the TN2M Show of Network. All right, guys, we have a ton of stardom set 'em questions. I'm going straight back to the top because we had them from the very top of the hour. So I'm going to throw them out there. So let's quick hit as much as we can through them. The Wraith wants to know, Kraft or Ertz in one league?
Well, we're going to assume that all these leagues are PPR leagues, that they're straight 1 point PPR for tight ends.
Unless we're told otherwise.
Unless we're told otherwise. So I'm thinking, with the first couple of questions we've had, Kraft or Ertz, and then Pitts or Andrews. What do you all think?
Yes.
That's the tight ends.
Well, okay, so let me jump in on the Pitts and Andrews because I have the exact same problem. Literally, I have these two, and I'm playing Pitts myself. So, I'm telling you exactly what I'm going to do here because Pitts is 8 to 10 points better right now. Mark Andrews has had 2 catches for 4 yards over 2 weeks. So that's not getting it done. Kyle Pitts is getting targets. It's Pitts for me.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, I would start Kyle Pitts. I'd even start Earl Pitts over
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews right now.
Now, as far as
Kraft and Ertz, Chuck.
As far as Kraft and Ertz, Kraft had a little bit of an injury scare yesterday in practice, so you might want to keep an eye on that before you justify that lineup. But if Kraft is playing, it's Kraft for me, considering that Jaden Daniels isn't playing, and Jaden Daniels looks for Ertz everywhere. So for me, it would be Kraft if he's healthy.
Kraft if he's healthy for me as well, but I think Ertz will still finish as a top 10 tight end.
Agreed.
I agree 100%.
Yep.
You go Kraft, and as long as he's healthy. I just don't trust Marcus Mariota any further than I could throw him. Next question. This is a dynasty super flex. Quarterbacks are Ward and Russell and Dart. Running backs are Chase, Cook, Bucky, and Connor. Would you move Connor, Renfro, and DJ Moore for Penix and Tyreek? I think I would do that in that case personally. I think you're deep at running back. You're really only losing the one starter at running back. I don't know that you're going to play Renfro every week and you replace DJ Moore with Tyreek, which is probably an upgrade at this point. I think you pull the trigger on that. No questions.
Yeah, you smashed the accept. If that was offered to you, you smashed that.
Do you know that Cam Ward's been sacked more times than any quarterback in the NFL for the last 2 weeks? I'd probably would give this a shot too. And Tyreek Hill's on the rise, but Tyreek Hill, can he stay healthy? That's the only thing.
Yeah,
well, you have to weigh that, but I think in this situation, I think the draw is Penix. to upgrade the quarterback position, and I think you do that.
100%. Yep.
Go get Ray McCloud as a free agent as well. If you make this trade as well, get a stack.
Yeah, that I mean, you're going to have a roster spot open because you're moving 3 for 2. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Dustin Wells wants to know: would you go Pittman or DJ Moore in a flex?
For me, this week that's a tough one. That's a tougher question than you think. But for me, it's Pittman. Moore's been very inconsistent so far this year, and it just looks like Daniel Jones is. I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like he's got it together finally. So for me, it would be Pittman here.
I'm going to go Mr. DJ Moore because the Dallas Cowboys defense is worse than the Tennessee Titans throwing. So that's going to be my only drawback here because I see this being a possible Josh Downs week in Tennessee.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Dr. Harwood, just because of the defense they're playing. Yeah, I know, right? But I think it's just because of the defense they're playing. I think the Cowboys, I mean, they're holier than Swiss cheese. So I would take that because I think DJ Moore is going to have a breakout week, and it could be this week just based on the defense. But I think you're in a good situation that you have those two to choose from. All right, next question. Albert wants to know, needs one receiver and one flex out of Devontae Smith, Juwan Jennings, Martin Hampton, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Scatterbo, and Troy Franklin. One receiver and one flex.
I like this man's roster structure.
Yeah.
And he's really built himself very, very well. I think Devontae Smith's got to be your number one choice regardless. I think AJ Brown's done. I think he's finished. You can stick a fork in that guy. I think he is showing his age, so to speak. And Devontae Smith can get one big play, and he's off to the races. So I'd go Devontae Smith. And of all those guys, let's say if Hampton gets a touchdown this week, if he does, he'll be above the rest of those guys, I think.
Yeah. For me, I think I like Juwan Jennings as your starting wide receiver and J.K. Dobbins as the flex.
Well, I'm going to make it even more complicated. I like Juwan Jennings and I like Troy Franklin because over the past 2 weeks, he's got like 8-9 targets a game, and he's becoming a guy that Bo Nix really likes. I really like Troy Franklin moving forward. I would go Juwan Jennings and Troy Franklin. So I don't know how much that helps because we don't have a consensus here, and that's a lot of players to pick from. Yeah, I think if you want to be safe, you go Devontae and Jennings probably.
Correct.
If you want to go for a home run guy, go Scatterbo. If you want to go for high ceiling upside, I'd go Smith and Scatterbo.
Adrian has another question. He says Devontae Smith, Juwan Jennings. Oh, nope, it's the same question. All right. Never mind.
That's a big question. You had to ask it twice.
It was a big question. All right. Do you trade Genty and Terry? I'm assuming he means McLaren for Hampton and Justin Jefferson. I'll then have to start Hampton at RB2. I think if you have an opportunity to get one of the top receivers in the NFL, you take that.
Yeah, Jefferson's the best player in this trade, and if you can get the best player in the trade in a 2-for-2, then you jump all over that.
And I also think that Hampton will eventually come on. I don't think it's a, I don't think he's a lame duck. I think he will be fine. Doc.
Well, I tell you what, I believe that Justin Jefferson is the best player in this deal. You've got to go for it. But you can't not wait to do it. If you're going to do it, you better do it now. Don't say, well, let me see what these guys do this week. Do it now.
Yeah, I mean, I would jump on it now. Like, if you can hit that, like, if you're still watching and you can smash that accept button, do it now before the other guy rethinks it. Because, again, you're getting a guy that went probably top 5 for a guy that has – I mean, you're basically trading a rookie for a rookie, and I think they'll be pretty equal. But you're significantly upgrading Terry McLaren for Justin Jefferson. And I think you have to make that trade. He also asked – Traded Cooper Cup for Olave. What do you think? If it's a dynasty, I love that trade.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, I don't know that. I think it's apples for apples there. I don't know that it's a huge upgrade one way or the other.
Well, Cooper Cup, he'll get hurt again, and he'll be like, And Olave, not much better, but at least Olave, I think, is going to stay healthier.
Yeah, and I think I might have to check my numbers before I put false facts out here. But I think Olave might be one of the most targeted receivers in the NFL right now through 2 weeks. But I'll have to go check those numbers and verify. They're really chucking the ball around in New Orleans. I don't know, that trade could benefit you long haul.
Well,
yeah, I was gonna. I mean, I love Cooper Cup. I've loved him for a few years. I might have a man crush on him. I don't know, but I know he has been injury prone, but I think where he's at, I like the situation he's in right now. And if he stays healthy, I think he's the better of those two. And I also think quarterback plays a little bit better there than what it is in New Orleans right now. But if it's a dynasty league, yeah, I definitely like Olave there because I think long term he has more upside.
Well, Olave, 25 years old, went to the Ohio State, and he does have 23 targets through 2 games and leads all wide receivers in expected PPR points per game. So right now, Olave's the hotter player. I mean, boys, we got to get in some of these leagues of Adrian's, and it looks like he is ready to gauntlet on a couple of these guys.
Yeah. Walls wants to know full PPR, pick 2 receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex. I feel like we're setting his whole lineup for him tonight.
Hello, Walls.
Wide receiver. Wide receivers, London, Higgins, Collins, Wilson. Ooh. Running back, Saquon, Mason, Chase, Brown, and Monty.
Ooh.
Who do y'all like there?
So 2 wide receivers.
Did Saquon? No. No, I was teasing. Running backs, I would say
Saquon. You have to.
Yeah, definitely got to go Saquon. That's a must. Mason's got the backfield to himself this week.
I think he'll get 20 carries. And I'm thinking to be safe, the running backs are going to be Barkley and Brown. If you want to go for impact, if you want to go for the home run capability and really wow your opponent, go Saquon and Mason.
Yeah,
for running back.
I think London is a lock. I think Saquon's a lock.
Yep. Agreed.
In terms of the other running backs, I think you've got to play Nico Collins. I think he's your number 2. Yep. And based on that, I would go Mason and Chase Brown. I think Higgins is the odd man out here. But I think Higgins could easily have 8 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown, but he could just as easily, because he's not the featured guy, could have 3 catches for 30 yards, and we've seen both out of him.
Yep. Yeah, so I agree with Seth. For me, it's London and Collins, Saquon and Mason, and then you're flexing Chase Brown.
All right, hopefully that helps you out, Walls.
Well, London, Collins, I agree. And I'd go either Chase Brown. I'd probably go Chase Brown to flex, but I think Mason outscores Brown this week.
He very well may. I mean, like you said, he's got the backfield to himself in a matchup that we all think might be a shootout this week. Full PPR, multiple injuries at running back. So in a flex position, would you start Mike Evans or Rome Odunze? That's easy for me. As much as I love Mike Evans, Rome Odunze, you ride the hot hand until he's not hot anymore.
We're going to blame Steven's wife Kim for all these injury picks that he's been making. So we're going. But Mike Evans, I've got him ranked 11th at wide receiver this week, and I've got Rome Odunze 18th, and I think and Emeka Egbuka is questionable this week, so that's Evans correct. May get some more time. So I think Steve, it's close. If there's a way you can play both of them, I think Odunze and Evans are going to be within 3, 4, 5 fantasy points of one another. See if you can look at your roster one more time, Steve, and then come back and try to see if you can play both. But the answer to your questions is Evans is the one, in my opinion.
All right. Hopefully. So 2-1 for Odunze. Harwood is the odd man out. Let's see. What else do we got here? I kind of like this segment. Someone just sent me JT for Bucky and J-Mo. Would you make that trade? Yes. I think I would.
What is it, JT or Jonathan Taylor?
Yep.
For Bucky and Jamison Williams. Yeah, I think I make that trade.
I do as well.
I do it for the depth. Do it for the depth because you're going to need the depth later when all these bye weeks hit. And they come week 5 and 6 and 7 when there's like 4 to 6 teams on bye week and you don't know who to start, you'll have the depth.
Let's see. Here we go. Oh, so Chris says he thinks Landon, Collins, Barkley, and Mason are locks. I think we all agreed as well.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, he's an SBFFC owner, and he's also in these fan ball leagues, and he does Devils of DFS, and he's been doing his research. So I would give some props to Chris here. He's done his homework.
All right, we've only got a few minutes left. I have a stardom set 'em question for you guys because I mentioned earlier I'm fighting the Mark Andrews. He's probably needs to retire from the league, and I've got Kyle Pitts. Well, I've got Pitts, and then I went out and picked up Jatavian Sanders. Do I still play Pitts, or do I roll the dice with Jatavian Sanders, who had a really good week and is starting to get more of a target share in Carolina?
Give Pitts another shot because Pitts has got more of the experience, and I never thought he'd be ranked this high in tight ends, but he's playing.
Well, I mean, once you get Arthur Smith out of there, it makes a little bit of a difference.
Well, I'd almost rather have arthritis than Arthur Smith coaching.
Yeah, I agree with the doctor. We roll with Pitts one more time, Seth.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. That's kind of where I was leaning, but I want to give myself a little bit of an option later on if I need it, because I think Sanders is coming on as a tight end.
100%.
Wraith wants to know Garrett Wilson or DK Metcalf this week. I like Metcalf. I just don't trust anybody that's throwing to Garrett Wilson right now because Fields is out.
Yeah, I'm not down with Tyrod Taylor this week, so it's DK Metcalf for me.
Well, I tell you what though, but Garrett Wilson, if he gets a big play, then he might do better. Now I've got Garrett Wilson ranked above DK Metcalf, but it's barely. Tampa Bay's defense isn't the best, boys. So you drafted Garrett Wilson earlier than DJ Metcalf for a reason. And if you've only got to start one, I'd like to see the rest of this guy's roster because looks like he's got a pretty deep roster. I would bet you that Garrett Wilson will score more than DK Metcalf this week.
Is that like a put it on the board thing there, Dr. Harwood?
You can put it on the board. You can stick it. You can put a lock on it. I mean, however you want to play it. Garrett Wilson will find a way to outscore Metcalf this week. New England's defense is tough.
All right. We only got a few minutes. Are there any props that you like? I think the lock is we talked about earlier this week is if you can get on it early, maybe get on it now, the Jamar Chase receiving line. I think you got to get on that if you can. Any other props that you like this week?
Well, Jordan Mason over the rushing yards. And also, Ted McMillan, the defensive guys that's covering McMillan is out this week. Maybe McMillan, this might be the game that he breaks 90 receiving yards.
Well, he had a good game last week.
Well, he may do even better. And 65.5 receiving yards is his prop currently. And I'm really liking. I'm gonna go tell him over and over and over until he goes under.
Yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb over this week. On the prop that I'm doing, it's over 82.5. So I'm taking CeeDee Lamb over 82.5 receiving yards.
I'm looking at what Ted McMillan's line was last week because I think he got close to 100. I feel like, or maybe it was 10 receptions. Yeah, six receptions for 100 yards.
Yep.
Well, speaking of props, Splash Sports. I'm going to have a talk with them next week. They've invited us to a new game that goes hand in hand with Survivor. Quick Picks. Go to splashsports.com. They're offering $10 for free for anybody new that has not been a member of Splash Sports who wants to try it out before Sunday's games. Go to the Quick Picks section on the app or the website of Splash Sports. Pick players to go more or less on their projected stats. That's over or under for the gambling, because that's a politically correct term for over or under. The more you get right, the more you win. Get up to 50 times your money back. So, but if you
I like 50 times my money back.
They'll put 10 in your accounts after you deposit and play the slip. The Quick Pick, it's like doing parlays. It's doing a parlay. That's what it is.
Well, give them a look. Run the website again. What is it?
Splashsports.com, or download the Splash Sports app and do it that way. And then also, I want you all to go to dogoodfantasy.com. My buddy Dan Claskins, he's really a strong supporter of the veterans. My dad's a veteran, and Dan Claskins has gotten me many SBFFC owners over the years. He's gotten me many owners to do my survivor pools, my NCAA tournament brackets, my other pick'em games I do. Go to dogoodfantasy.com. They're doing a one-time $30 donation. You're donating to the Disabled Veterans of America, Disabled American Veterans, the DAV. And then once you donate the $30, you'll get an invite to join their salary cap contest. And if you finish in one of the top 10 over a weekly season scores, you can pick a prize of winning an SBFFC team for 2026, among many other prizes. Do Good Fantasy has raised over $50,000 for DAV over the last 6 years. Top 10 single week scores, you can enter at any time. It's like playing FanDuel or DraftKings, but go for the points and you pick a brand new team every week. You don't have to, you can use the same player over and over and over. But last week it was 23 people that entered. So if it's top 10 scores overall, your odds right now are very, very good to win a top 10 finish.
Nice.
All right. Let's close it out on this. Steven says he can play both Evans and Odunze, but he would have to pull Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, or Nico Collins. What would you do?
That's brutal. That is a lot of depth.
Wish it was a bye week.
Yeah.
I actually think I set Keenan Allen and play Odunze over Keenan Allen, but that's just me.
Well, Keenan Allen has been probably a hot wide receiver over the last few weeks. It's going to be hard to bench.
Just Keenan throw Allen. All them a Yahtzee cup and throw them.
I mean, I would argue the same about Odunze, though. I think their numbers have been similar over the last 2 weeks.
Well, I would say this, Steve. Look at your opponent and look at what quarterback he's got. That might make your decision. What your opponent's quarterback is. If he's got Baker Mayfield, or if he's got Caleb Williams, or if he's got Justin Herbert, you play it. You play those wide receivers. If not, I'd bench Keenan Allen.
All right. Well, there we go. All right, that's going to do it for the show tonight. Special thanks to everybody that tuned in, even if it was for a minute. We definitely appreciate it. Thanks for all the stardom sit-em questions. That's become a fun segment. We're going to keep that here from now on. Special thanks to our sponsor, Trophy Smack, and our guest for tonight, Gene Polk. Guys, final thoughts before we send it off.
Bold prediction this week, Rams over Eagles.
Oh, that is a bold prediction.
Yep.
I think it's a very credible prediction. If Kyron Williams can run the ball, and if Nakua can get over 100 yards again, and if they control A.J. Brown, I could see Philly losing. Yep. It's going to be hard, though. You cannot go in and defeat the world champions without a game plan. The Rams had better be ready, though. They'll be on all cylinders.
Dr. Harwood, final thoughts.
I have a feeling, and I don't know why, I don't have any scientific basis or any research whatsoever. I think Tennessee Titans will beat the Colts Sunday. By hook or by crook, they'll win.
Well, I'm going to give you the I'm going to give you the not bold prediction. The Browns are going to get shut out against the Packers. I don't think they score a point because Joe Burrow is going to be running for his life, and he's old and can't run. So Micah Parsons is going to feast on that Browns offense, and this is coming from a Browns fan. So take that for what it's worth. That is it for us. Again, special thanks to our sponsors, Trophy Smack. For Chuck, for Dr. Brian Harwood, I'm Seth Burchett. You've been listening to the Fantasy Football Power Hour brought to you by the SBFFC on the TN2M show network of shows right here on YouTube.